In reading about Albert's rocket ship some time ago and how time slowed, led me to understand it as Fq equals E, t. In other words, for Fq to stay constant, both E and t had to as well. In analogy, please consider below. In retrospect, as in EE some time also ago, I used to skew clock cycles via Boolean logic. I could make one side of the clock as long or short based on design. Per the sense of universal time. One of our personal clocks of course is the second, which can be divided into picoseconds etc. For the sake of example in the following, let's call this universal time. Question 1. Although we cannot detect if the clock cycle for our own sense of universal time is skewed or not, in observation of heavenly bodies, such as in the following, can we say that time in fact is skewed based on Fq equals E, t depending upon where one is looking at the two merging galaxies? Question 2. If so, can we also conclude that time as we know it for where we are in the spiral of the Milky Way also is different than in perhaps other parts of the Milky Way? Question 3. For our inertial frame of reference, we can possibly conclude that our sense of time is constant while also being a non-inertial reference frame in a spiral of the Milky Way? Question 4. Per Fibonacci, could we further say that our universal time in the Milky Way is subject to it? Question 5 inches. Have you thought about galaxy spirals with respect to Fibonacci? That is, in terms of the characteristics of the spiral itself, similar to the following pattern. Theory for me, theory is just my theory, is that the fib 1.6 constant in describing the shape also describes perhaps the relationship of time with respect to acceleration toward the center and deceleration of time when spiraling out for a body in the spiral.